After all the hype settles and the honeymoon with the fawning media ends, a fighter is, ultimately, only as good as his opposition. How history will see emerging superstar Anthony Joshua depends greatly on who the talented Brit faces in the ring. Is a legend being born, or will we simply see another decade or so of heavyweight dominance where one fighter beats up on an underwhelming cast of mediocre challengers all of Vladimir Klitschko reign? Taking a look at Joshua's best possible opposition may help fans answer that question. Here's a look at the Brits' true challengers and how they grade in terms of both ability to produce equality bout as well as generate fan interest. Deontay Wilder may have enough star power to make a championship showdown with Anthony Joshua a big hit inside the United States, and Team Joshua may need that slight nudge in the American market to jumpstart American interest. In the ring, Wilder is awkward and still rough around the edges, but has one-punch power that can make any fight against anyone interesting. Grade A. Luis Ortiz. The Cuban may be the most skilled fighter on this list, but age is a factor, as well as a penchant for career self-sabotage via failed blood piss tests. Time is running out on Ortiz's ring viability, and the rest of boxing is happy to watch Ortiz sit on the sidelines. If Ortiz does get in the ring with Joshua at some point in the immediate future, head test the young champ's skills and maturity like nobody else in the division. Grade B. Alexander Povetkin. You can pretty much say the same for Povetkin as was just said about Ortiz. The Russian has removed himself from the title picture with dubious alleged dealings in chemical substances. If that question mark is removed from over his head, he could make Joshua work hard and force him to use something more than size and athleticism to get a victory. Grade B. David Haye. Despite Haye possibly being the lowest level fighter on this list in terms of ring viability at this moment, his immense marketability makes him, quite likely, the most marketable big money opponent for Joshua in the foreseeable future. Haye has to get by Tony Bellew in a rematch of his embarrassing TKO loss last March, but if he does, don't be surprised to see Joshua versus Haye sooner rather than later. Grade A. Kubrat Pulev. An injury removed Pulev from his October 28 date with Joshua and may have pushed him on the path to a lesser title challenge down the line against Freso Cuendo. Pulev won't beat Joshua, regardless of when the bout takes place, and won't be much of a draw as an opponent, either. But he is a live body and does represent a learning experience for the young champ. Grade C. Joseph Parker. New Zealand's Parker holds one of the 4 recognized world title belts in the heavyweight division, but is absolutely not an equal to 2-belt champ Joshua. While he's an entertaining offensive fighter when matched properly, Parker is not a primetime player and would likely be bashed to bits quite quickly by Joshua and maybe everyone else on this list. Still, he has a belt and provides for a highlight reel so there's still some value there. Grade C. Yarrell Miller. Big Baby may be America's second best chance, behind Deontay Wilder, of producing someone to dethrone Anthony Joshua, but that doesn't mean that he's even remotely close to being able to do it. Miller has shown some ability and some of the mindset necessary to become a major player in the division, but he has a long way to go before proving his chops on the heavyweight main stage. Grade C. Bryant Jennings. As much as the world seems to want to forget Jennings, he's still the guy who gave Vladimir Klitschko a tough time in 2015. He's, unfortunately for him, also the guy who got blasted away in 7 by Luis Ortiz in his very next fight. Still, Jennings is a talented and tenacious challenger who just moved to a company in Top Rank Promotions, eager to move him up the ladder of contention. He'd provide an interesting challenge for Joshua, not entirely without upset potential. Grade C. Dillian Whyte. Back in 2015, the boisterous brawler buzzed Joshua and almost brought about the collapse of the Joshua bandwagon after it had barely started rolling. In the end, though, Class won out and Whyte was stopped in the 7th. Whyte has improved and has scored solid wins over Derek Chisora and Malcolm Tan since then. An upcoming bout with Robert Helenius on the Joshua Carlos Takam undercard this weekend will likely determine who gets next crack at Joshua. Grade C. Tyson Fury. If the former champ gets his personal issues in order and can force himself back into fighting shape, he is a must-fight opponent for Joshua. Even at his best, however, Fury is not as good as a semi-prime Joshua and should lose decisively in a passing of the torque bout. Stylistically, Fury may make for a sloppy bout though, and that may be one negative to putting this fight together if it ever becomes a possibility. But, on the other hand, with the good guy versus bad guy dynamic in play and Fury generating his usual avalanche of headlines, there's no doubt that Joshua Fury would be a blockbuster money fight. Grade B.